Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Now it's time to get to the top 8 international news stories that made in this week. So, let's get to it. Let's waste no time. Story number 1. The world is still trying to fight and overcome the coronavirus. It hasn't been letting up. Multiple articles focusing on where America stands in the fight to find a solution to the world's coronavirus problems have been in the news quite a bit during these weeks, often, almost continuously. It doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. So that's why this story is such a big headline. Another headline: experts have their fingers crossed while the world slowly tries to get back to normal. As people open up, they have their fingers crossed, hoping that the virus does not resurface in some people and in some areas. New Zealand has closed its borders to foreigners, and they say it could be for a long time. They've even closed some tourist spots. Big headline. Nike set to donate over 30,000 pair of shoes to healthcare workers, showing some love to the healthcare workers, which is good love. Some are still skeptical of the coronavirus models that have forced the government and many state officials to make some drastic decisions by shutting down entire school systems and even state economies. Some are very skeptical of these models and say they could be to blame because of the economic shutdowns and the economic effect that is had on the United States and the world by shutting down. Some just are very intense and don't want and just can't fathom that things have been shut down. Big story that is still developing. New research into people becoming immune to the coronavirus after they've recovered is creating some buzz talk in some circles. It means this could be a big key deciding factor in how people recover and how coronavirus could be cured. This may help in the research. That's why it's creating some talk. 3 frontline workers at a Russian hospital have fallen out of a hospital window. 2 are dead and 1 is in the hospital. This incident has put a lot of attention on how Russia is handling the coronavirus. Even with Putin in leadership, you can see that there's a lot of stress being put on world leaders because of this virus. Russian Prime Minister has reportedly tested positive for coronavirus. Big headline. India has 1.3 billion people and only has 1,000 virus deaths. Keep note of that. How is that possible? Last week alone, reports confirmed that more than 1 million people worldwide have recovered from COVID-19. The world is still pledging billions to defeat this coronavirus. But keep that in mind. In story number 1, that 1 million people worldwide have recovered. That drastically outweighs the amount of deaths. Story number 2. What the housing and financial crisis of 2008 could teach us. This is a big story that centers in on what we can learn from Wall Street being regulated and the government having to intervene in emergency situations, economic emergency situations. Here's some headlines. Home prices are rising while the world fights the coronavirus. Keep an eye on this story, on that headline. Big story. Another story. Government spending is at $3 trillion as the U.S. borrows more money to fight and defeat the coronavirus. That means the government is borrowing more than it's making. So this is a big headline that we may have to review the 2008 financial crisis to overcome, if possible. That means the government is going to be working very hard in the coming years. U.S. job losses hit 30 million and is being compared to the Great Depression. Big headline. Stocks have been up and down according to Forbes magazine, even in the fight to stop the spread of the coronavirus. This is leaving investors with a different outlook on economic behavior in a time of crisis. Some see an opportunity and some remain skeptical even as stocks swing up and down during this pandemic. That means investors some of them are using their imagination, some of them are remaining optimistic, and some are just becoming pessimistic. The test of investments is being tested during this coronavirus. The will of investors. Big headline. One CEO made $1.6 million in the stock market and gave all of it to his employees, according to a USA Today article. This shines a lot of light on the attitude of investors and what they're doing with their gains and losses. You're testing the will of man here and females. There's all investors come in all shapes and sizes. Last week, the Fed chair reported that this is the worst economy in U.S. history. The economy sunk 4.8%. That's a rate not seen since 2008. Story number 3. The money fights inside of the United States continues, even in the midst of the coronavirus saga. Get this, undocumented immigrants are fighting the Trump administration to receive stimulus money for their children whom are citizens. Big headline. There are still headlines about businesses having complaints about the government-run loan programs formed to assist them in a crisis. The government is trying to keep up, and people are still having grievances. Another developing story, there is a big fight brewing as people struggle to pay their rent. Some headlines have even surfaced about a cancel the rent movement. This story is gaining the attention of legislators. Some landlords are offering free rent during the pandemic, and some want their money. Big headline. Tim Ryan wants the government to assist with $2,000 monthly payments to Americans until the coronavirus saga is over. That's a big headline, and that's a lot of government intervention. Is it worth it? As you can see, people are really trying to get the government to help as much as possible, and some people don't like it. Some people don't want to be helped, some people do. Different strokes for different folks in America. Low income and younger workers are more likely to be laid off, according to a report by USA Today. Big headline. Another headline, some college students are not happy and have filed lawsuits to get a refund from schools who converted to online classes during lockdown. Some people are joining hands in this fight, and some people want their money. There needs to be a serious dialogue, quick, on the healthcare system because many doctors have had to take pay cuts and some nurses are out of work. The healthcare insurance industry has seen a decline in revenue due to the coronavirus, and this is not good. That's why this story made it to the top 8. NFL commissioner will be going without pay, and many workers, along with other sports leagues as well, will be taking pay cuts. Story number 4. The United States culture is still considered different compared to the rest of the world. So is this a problem? Here's some headlines. In 2019, divorce rates inside of the United States stood at 40 to 50% compared to the rest of the world. Shows you a lot. Here's another one. There are 40 million lawsuits filed each year in the United States alone compared to other countries. Big headline. And another headline. Hate crimes in the United States are still an issue even in 2020. Get this headline. A man wore a KKK hood to a California grocery store that could result in a hate crime charge. In 2020, not 1960, not 1940, not 1920, but in 2020, showing you a lot about the culture and how people's minds are trained inside of the United States. Different outlook. 3 family members are in custody after being charged for killing a security guard who reportedly told a customer to wear a face mask. The shooting took place at a Michigan store, Family Dollar. Big headline. Some are waving a red flag because of the cost of the coronavirus treatments. Now, the cost, they're comparing it to other countries. Now, there is a report about medical bills totaling several $1,000s, while the cost in other countries are apparently free. In some reports, they say that one man in Italy was treated at no cost compared to the United States. That's a big headline. Some people feel that Medicare should be, or just medical costs in America should be free. Some people say it's a right, not a need. It's a big headline, and that's why this discussion is ongoing and why this headline is so big, why it made it to the top 8 this week. Now, because of the U.S. culture, this could be why many Americans have struggled with the lockdown, according to some reports. And this could explain why officials have had such a hard time getting some Americans, to cooperate. A lot going on inside of story number 4, and that's why it made it to the top 8 this week. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to take a quick break. You're in the Mediator with me, Brian West. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Oh, yeah. Now it's time to get to the top 4 international news stories that made it in this week. So let's waste no time. Let's get to it. Story number 5. Even in a time of crisis, science and technology is still advancing. According to Popular Mechanics, researchers in Switzerland have discovered a new organic light-emitting diode. This could play big in light chemistry and light advancement. Big story. The first drone to fly with artificial intelligence made by Boeing will be the first for Australia in more than 50 years. The deal is an investment of $40 million from the Australian government. Outside of the United States, this is the largest investment for this type of aircraft. Another headline, some research institutes are joining forces to try and improve the CRISPR editing tool. So even gene editing is advancing. A lot of big headlines. Bloomberg reports that scientists have created monoclonal antibodies in a lab that can defeat the coronavirus. Science is stepping in, but there are things to worry about as science advances and technology. What are they taking away from? Big headline. Tesla has reportedly applied with the UK's gas and electricity market to get a license to generate electricity inside of the UK. Big headline. The last headline inside of story number 5. Technology is helping doctors monitor some COVID-19 patients. Story number 6. While the world battles the coronavirus, there is still some big news happening under the radar. Tensions between Venezuela and the United States are heating up. This is after Maduro captured 2 Americans in what he says was a failed invasion attempt. Maduro believes that he is being targeted because of recent events that have taken place under his socialist watch. Big story in number 6. U.S. and China may be at odds. This is reportedly the worst relationship that the 2 superpowers have had in over 50 years. And this story needs much needed attention. Some are even spreading rumors of war resulting from many concerns surrounding the coronavirus. So China and America may be mixing it up a bit. 14 killed in airstrikes carried out by Israel in eastern Syria. Data shows that even with peace deals with the Taliban, attacks on Americans' Afghan allies have increased in Afghanistan. You can see the details inside of story number 6 are changing The outlook on foreign policy and foreign affairs under the radar. Nikki Haley wants action against China as she has launched a petition for Congress to investigate because of the coronavirus. Story number 7 and the top 2 international news stories that made it in this week. Step right up. Hungry people do unusual things to get fed. Big headline. The UN is sending warning signals. Get this, they feel that the hunger crisis is getting worse while the world fights the coronavirus. This is real. The organization says that people are starving to death and that they could be starving to death even more. It could double if this continues to go on. A lot going on inside of story number 7, and that's why it's in the top 2. Hunger is a big world problem. Angelina Jolie in the fight. She wants Congress to increase food stamp benefits because she does not want to see children go hungry. That's a big advocate, and that's good policy when children go hungry. She wants something done. Good story. Some New Yorkers are apparently facing the challenge of buying food because they can't afford to. So they're facing the challenge of buying a need, which is food. You see, this is a big story. Hunger is a big deal inside of America and inside of the world. Lebanon has ignited into protests because of food prices and decisions made by the government. Hunger and poor living conditions have also sparked uprisings as well. Now, according to one CNN protester, he stated that if your child is hungry, you will eat your rulers. Story number 8, and the top international news story that made in this week. The Trump team is taking big hits in the midst of the coronavirus fight. Trump is reportedly facing a challenge from the Catholic Church as he tries to get their vote. Another headline, Trump also faces a huge re-election obstacle because his winning ticket of a good economy has taken a big hit now that the economy is tanking due to the coronavirus. Another headline you may want to check out. Some see no good strategy and some do in the president's push to engage in a trade war with China due to the coronavirus's effect on the global economy. One report centers around the fact that Wall Street is not happy at all with this president's plans that has had a big effect on the Dow. Now, the article also shines light on the fact that Trump may see an opportunity to get China to cancel some U.S. debt owed to Beijing. This entire scenario could play a big role in Trump's re-election plans and strategy, if you want to be specific. The last headline to keep an eye on inside of story number 8. Trump may be aiming to get re-elected by using China as leverage. One article claims that he has made it evident that China sees him as a threat. A lot going on inside of story number 8 that could affect how we view this president in the next election, and it could change people's outlook on whether this president should be reelected. Well, those are our top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it in this week. As usual, I want to thank all the people in the front lines, all the news outlets and journalists that keep us informed. You deserve all the credit. I am just a mediator. If you want to show us some support, feel free to go to our website and buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program if you want to show us some support. Well, as usual, I am out of here. As usual, I've stepped in, and as usual, I'm headed out. So if you want to show us some support, feel free to go to the website. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I'm gone. I'm taking a break. Taking a week, and I'll be back next week. Have a good week, everybody. Thank you for tuning to The Mediator. Me, Brian West. Peace.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
If you want to check out the stories that almost made it in or did make it in, go to our Twitter feed on our website. Check out everything. All of the sources are there. It goes to the website. It's method8inc.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program.